What's up, guys? It's me, Tag V, and welcome to a scary story. So this is gonna be a thing now, where I upload 2 times a week. I'll try to upload on Wednesdays or Thursdays, probably Wednesdays, and usual Friday or Saturday will be live streaming or a normal ass video. So what scary story are we telling today? So I got a juicy one for you. It's called digital camera. So many of us have cameras now. This is a story about that. So strap your seatbelts. Let's just jump right in. So the digital camera is a typical ghost story about a girl whose mother dies suddenly, and she begins to exhibit strange behavior and refuses to be left alone. Like, she can't stand the fact that she is alone because she's so scared. This story is based on a true story that happened in Japan a few years ago, so it's technically a Japan story. So take it what you will of it. So the story goes that one of this girl's relatives passed away suddenly. She never met the woman. She had a daughter who was 4 years old. The girl's name was Yuki, the daughter. Her father wasn't able to raise her on his own. He asked her aunt to take care of her. So the little girl then refused to be left alone, and she never left her aunt's side. It started to become a real problem, so the aunt couldn't go anywhere essentially without Yuki. She constantly needed attention. Even the aunt's own daughter started to get jealous, because she's clingy. One day, the aunt told her that she had to go out of town for a couple of days, and asked if she would babysit the little girl for her. Obviously, she accepted, and because she lived alone, and she could do with some company. A few days later, the aunt dropped Yuki off at her apartment. As she was leaving, she took the little girl aside, and then she said, "Yuki, please be good and behave yourself." So when the aunt was gone, the babysitter tried to talk to Yuki and play some games with her, but her behavior was quite strange. She had a teddy bear tucked tightly under her arm, and she never let go of it. She never smiled, she never spoke. All she did was sit quietly in the corner and stare at the wall. It made her kind of uneasy. So she was trying to find something that would entertain her. She had just bought a new digital camera, and she decided to let Yuki play with the old one. When she saw the camera, her eyes lit up. She showed her how to use it, and she went around the apartment taking pictures of everything. There was a bright smile on her face. So on the same evening, she discovered how difficult Yuki was to deal with. Whenever she tried to leave the room, she started crying and screaming out. The babysitter couldn't leave her alone or she would create a huge fuss. She even insisted on going to the bathroom with her, which was very embarrassing. During bedtime, she refused to stay in the spare room and insisted on sleeping in the babysitter's bed. So she read her bedtime story, and after a while, she got her to sleep. And that's when she noticed her teddy bear. One of the legs were charred and blackened, as if it had been burned. It made her wonder. In the middle of the night, she was awoken by a strange noise. When she turned over, she saw that there was something wrong with Yuki. The little girl's body was trembling and shaking. Her eyes wide open, her teeth were chattering, and tears were streaming down her cheeks. She held her close and asked her what was wrong. "She's looking at me again," Yuki mumbled. "Who is?" "The dark woman," replied Yuki. She wouldn't say anything anymore. The babysitter tried to tell her it was just her imagination, but she kept shaking her head and whimpering. It took the babysitter a long time to get her to go back to sleep. The next day, Yuki was fine. She loved playing with the digital camera again. When it was time for her to go home, the babysitter told Yuki she could keep it. Yuki then hugged her. Although she didn't say anything, Yuki was overjoyed. The babysitter dropped the little girl off at the aunt's house and stayed to have a cup of tea. The aunt thanked her for taking care of Yuki, while they stayed chatted at the kitchen table. Poor little thing, said the aunt. She hasn't said a word since her mother died. She couldn't contain her curiosity. How did Yuki's mom die? She asked. A strange look came over the aunt's face. She died in a fire. How did the fire start? She asked. Well, the aunt hesitated, unwillingly to talk about it. It is a really sad story. She committed suicide. Yuki's mother was a very troubled woman. She poured gasoline over herself and lit a match, and she burned herself alive. The babysitter was shocked, essentially. Her family was shocked. They hushed it up and pretended it was an accident. They had a small funeral, but only close relatives were invited. Yuki wasn't there. She doesn't even know her mother is dead. She thinks her mother is just on a long holiday. They haven't had the heart to tell her the truth. Poor Yuki, the babysitter said. My aunt nodded. The aunt nodded her head sadly. Poor Yuki. Few days after that, Yuki died. The aunt was trying to change Yuki's behavior. At night, she forced the little girl to sleep in her own bedroom. Even though Yuki screamed and cried, the aunt left her there alone and locked the door. In the morning, she found Yuki lying motionless in bed. The poor little girl was dead. Nobody could understand what had happened. The coroner couldn't determine a cause of death. There wasn't a mark on her body. She was perfectly healthy. She had just mysteriously died during the night. There was absolutely no explanation whatsoever. After the funeral, she went back to the aunt's house. Everyone was sad. She returned the digital camera she had given to Yuki. She then took it home with her because it was something to remember her by. The memory card was full of random photos Yuki had taken. She browsed through them, wiping a tear from her eyes. And then there were pictures of the apartment, pictures of the aunt's house, pictures of flowers, dogs, toys, candy, silly pictures that normally a child would take. Then I came to the last picture, and it made her blood run cold. My hands were trembling. Her hands were trembling. She wanted to scream, but nothing would come out. The timestamp on the photo showed that it had been taken on the night Yuki died. Here's the last picture that the poor little girl ever took with my digital camera. I gotta say, guys, that picture is really freaking creepy, dude. Like, imagine if you're like a 4-year-old, 6-year-old girl and you saw that before your death. That's gotta be so creepy, dude. I cannot even imagine that. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I would love it if you guys just hit that subscribe button so that I may play a horror game at the 1,000 subscriber special. So this is the new schedule, guys. 2 videos a week, horror and gaming. Probably when I go around and making short films, it'll be 3 times a week. Or maybe in that week there'll be 3 videos. But for now it's 2 times. So yeah, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Bye bye.